now, please welcome to the stage from Menlo Security, Victor Manga.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Had some lunch already? Drinks? All right. So this session is about browser context, and we'll talk about it, how it actually helping some of the incidents and SOC triage, what we are seeing outside to reduce the mean time to detect and respond. My name is Victor Manga. I'm based out of Los Angeles, California, and I started my journey as ethical hacker. And then I took complete 180 tilt, red, blue, purple teaming. And then someone told me I should go get a life, and now I do solution architect work. A little bit about Menlo Security, what we do. Someone actually asked me recently outside over there that when is the right time to engage you guys? When is the right time to consider Menlo Security? So I said, do you use a browser? Do you go to internet? It is the right time to engage Menlo Security. When you are going to good and bad internet, you're accessing your applications over the browser or not, it is the right time to engage Menlo. As you can see, we have 800 customers, 8 million plus active users, but something I want to point out is we are helping the organizations such as US Department of Defense who have the strict security compliance requirements to secure their browsing, their users, their enterprise applications. So I know we have only 20 minutes, and it's only 18 left. So for the next 18 minutes, I'm going to be talking about the browsing forensics importance in incident response, SOC triage, and how it's really changing the paradigm, what we are doing, what we used to do, the preparation of incident response, and what we do now, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So no presentation is complete without a history lesson or a meme. Here's a history lesson. We started our browser a long time ago, and it was this simple. You have a browser, you go get request, server sends you that, and that's it. That's all it was. We didn't think about security at the time because there was not a whole lot of people using it. It's exactly the same when we had this notion, there's no virus for Linux because there's not a whole lot of people using it. But now we know it's not true. We have problems in Linux and Mac as well. It's the same. We need to pay attention to our browser as well. So what we did, our defenders, they went in and they bought every single product on the Magic Quadrant, and they said, okay, so user, when you're going to this server, you're going to have to go through all of these hoops, and still not working. Threats are still being evaded, and security controls are still not enough. This is where the context of browser comes in, why we need context when your users are spending so much time in the browser, why we need to look at the context. My wife challenged me all the time when I say, I don't need phone, I can live without it. She's like, all right, put your phone over there for 24 hours, and then we'll see how you live without it. I challenge all of you the same. If you think browser is not important, try to do your job without it. I don't need to say the stats here. I would say it's 98% instead of 75%. But this comes from Forrester that we spend 75% of our time workday in a browser. So especially my geek audience here, all security tools have a web portal, one way or the other, to manage it. So how do we access it? Using a browser. An application like Salesforce or application like Slack or Office 365 or Google Workspace, how do we access it? Using a browser. Sure, they might have an application that you can install on your computer as well, but primarily we can live without it. And that's where it is. If browser has become the new operating system and identity is the new firewall, what are we doing about the browser? And that's what I'm here to talk about. Menlo encourages and almost educate every time. We'll start with this statement. Treat your browser as an enterprise asset. Now, that doesn't mean let's go install another browser on your computer. Let's not do that. Let's not pay for free. Keep your browser. Companies like Google have done a really good job at creating a really nice browser that we love and use every day. Let's not change that. What we need to change is getting the context in the hands of incident responders, in the hand of SOC people. So now we can actually look at it when you're going to interacting with the internet, good, bad internet. Let us help you to reduce that bad part and render you the safe part. That's what Menlo is here for. After talking to our customers, prospects, this is what it boils down to. We start with this. Treat your browser as enterprise browser, as an asset. And what you need to look at is there's so much in the browser. You can now pay things, you can have multimedia, you can have access from your browser to Bluetooth. But do you really need it for your enterprise? Maybe at home you need it. It's easy, it's nice, it's functional. But for your enterprise, do you need all of that? And if the answer is no, that's where Menlo's manage pillar comes in. Measure those policies against a known framework like CIS and gives you a way to centrally manage all the policies. So you don't have to translate what this engineering term means when it says get Bluetooth, 0 means disabled or enabled. I can't keep up, honestly. Having Menlo translating that in English, saying if you do this, this is what it means, this is what impact is, sure, that's what I want at the end of the day. The next part comes in protect. When we are interacting with our internet, again, good and bad internet, because we have had known good websites getting hacked. So we can really never be sure next time you go to a website, is it clean? Is it sending you all the good stuff? Is it sending you all the safe stuff? We don't know that. With no confidence, you can tell that. Having Menlo fetching, exploiting in our secure cloud browser, and rendering only safe data to you, that's what we do. That's where the protect piece comes in. And I'll talk more about it in it. Last is secure. This is the piece where incident responders, SOC analysts, they love this piece. How you're interacting with your enterprise applications. So right now, you may have VDI, VPN, or one way or the other, you may be opening whitelist, allow list to your applications. Menlo is saying, let us help you actually control the policies and provide the telemetry that you need, browsing forensics, and that's what I will talk about and show you as well in a minute. That's the secure piece. That's where how you secure your enterprise applications from the endpoint users as well when they bring their devices, from the contractors, temp workers, that you have no control, no access to their laptops. How can you manage a contract's laptop? You can't, but you can manage how they interact with your enterprise applications. All right, let's double click into each one of those pillars, starting with manage. By 2027, the enterprise browser will be a central component. I'm saying that no, it's already a central component. We don't need to wait for 2027. Again, I challenge all of you. If you don't believe me, next time, don't use a browser for a day and tell me how you're doing your job. If the answer is you can't, then it is an enterprise browser. It is so important to your enterprise that it's a central piece of it. How do you manage it today? How do you manage the policies? How do you make sure that when the new policies are being released, that's being checked, that's being verified, and that's being tuned and tweaked for your enterprise risk appetite? Next, secure. I talked about how you actually access your enterprise applications. So today, it could be as simple as you go to a browser, and you have VPN access where I can see your Active Directory, DNS, and maybe some other application servers more than what I need to. Having Menlo in between, allowing users what they need, nothing more, nothing less, it really enforces the zero trust architecture. This becomes the ecosystem where I need to access the application from wherever, whichever device, but I'm being controlled, make sure that I'm not over-provisioned to access. How can we be sure when we are accessing an internet and I clicked on a URL which looked like a phishing but hasn't been categorized as phishing yet? I have been in security from past 2 decades, and yet I fall for phishing attacks all the time. I'm going to say it. So what is there to do? More trainings? I've been doing it. It's not working. This is where Menlo is actually provide you the protection, the user protection, that 0-hour phishing. If the URL is not even categorized as phishing and you clicked on it, it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, Well, we're going to block it. That's where zero hour phishing, and I'll have a slide next there. Fundamental difference in the early generation of this concept was, hey, install my browser and let me control your network or DNS so that you can go in and go to internet. That was the traditional way. But again, the problem is everything happening on that laptop, on that endpoint, the fetching, the executing, and rendering. When I post that or when I do that get whatever website.com, it's happening on your laptop. Fundamental architectural difference with Menlo is we will go fetch and execute in a sandbox in a cloud for you. If everything is good, we'll render as is. The DOM will be presented to your browser as is, or if anything bad, you would want us to clean it before we deliver it to you. And that's where again, secure cloud browser comes in the light, where you don't need to change anything on your browser, you don't need to change anything on your endpoint, you don't need to change anything on your network. You just have to point your traffic, your browsing to Menlo so we can apply the policies that you want. I talked about zero hour phishing, and it starts with as simple as this. I used to be red team when I said, I would go and buy known URLs, known domain names, which are categorized as shopping, e-commerce, maybe hospitality, so I can set up phishing campaigns on it. It takes about 6 days to get it categorized properly as phishing. I have 6 days I can attack you as an attacker. You all are my victim for 6 days. That's where Menlo comes in and look at, well, this logo position didn't make sense because Microsoft does it differently. That's where our AI will look at it, the user fields input, it's not being posted right. We will block that even if it was not categorized as phishing. That's zero-hour phishing protection that we look at, that we provide. With our solution, you don't have to wait until the URL is categorized as phishing to provide the protection. Now think about the confidence. The users get this confidence that even if I click on a phishing link, it'll be blocked. I am safe. The same confidence will be translated to all of us as admins, because now the user can go and explore the wide internet without having to worry about, oh my God, what if I click on it, I have to do this 3-hour training, or I get called into HR. Stops it. Sure, keep doing trainings. I'm not saying stop that. But this gives the confidence to the users and admins that now, even if it was not categorized as phishing, we will still stop it. Visibility. Back in the days, when we started our cybersecurity programs, it used to be, hey, I need visibility into my network. So you would turn to firewalls, IPS, IDS logs. I need visibility into my endpoints. You would turn to your EDRs, AV tools. I need visibility into my web traffic. You'll turn to SWIG or CASB tools. So we just established a fact that browser is an enterprise asset. If you need visibility into browsing context, not just the URLs the user is going, where do you go? That's a black box today for a lot of companies. And that's what Menlo is here to reduce that blind spot. You need browsing context because that's where it starts. We users will click on things. It's natural because it's getting crafty or it's relatable. We are in a rush. We'll click on things. So we need that context. What happened when I clicked on it? I used to be SOC analyst. Any day I would have 7 to 8 or 10 sometimes alerts that I need to triage between 13 different dashboards. So network, endpoint, DLP, vulnerability management, or some other dashboard, I have to correlate what happened. Half the time we'll get it right and we'll say, yeah, this was not incident, business as usual, move on. Other times it's an incident. Let's triage further. That further part requires forensics. That further part requires context. That further part requires some sort of way, a time machine to go back. When the user clicked on it, what happened? And 9 out of 10, when we interview the user, they'll say, oh, I have no idea, I'm sorry. I have no idea I clicked on it. I don't know why I clicked on it. I don't know what I typed in it. 9 out of 10. I have done it. When people ask me, hey, did you type your password in it? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. That's a black box. Let's get that out of it. Menlo gives you the eyes into it when the user went to that phishing website, when your contractor, temp worker, went to your enterprise application, if they try to do something with it. Here's a stat for you, 198% increase in browser-based phishing attacks. Why? Because we're using browsers a lot. Here's our solution, Menlo Browsing Forensics. I explain this as almost like a CCTV for your browsing now. You, customer, have full access to what gets recorded, what gets actually taken screenshots, and where it's stored. It's never with us. We give you the tools, we set up the plumbing, but it's stored in your environment, in your cloud storage. We capture periodic screenshots and stitch them to make a video for you. We capture the raw data, what was accessed, CSS, HTML, JS files. Why? Because sometimes this might end up in a legal fight, and the URL is taken down by the attacker or law enforcement. How do you know what was in the code? The time when user went there, forensics. It's the key, it's the best friend for incident responders, and that's what Menlo is here to provide you. And again, for a level 1 triage, it's as simple just watching a video and seeing what happened. And it could be as simple as, you know what, business as usual, move on. But if this turns into a real incident, what do you need to do? That's what you need. Again, as I said, for an end user, it doesn't change anything. They still go to wherever they need to go to. They still need to continue doing their day job. If it's a contractor, temp worker, watch list, insider threats, they still keep doing whatever they need to do. But now you as admin have control over the forensics. And it's stored in your cloud environment, in your storage. And we set up the plumbing between the viewer and from the admin portal, so it almost becomes a seamless integration that you get to see that video. You get to see the input fields. You get to see what we entered or as a user when I interacted to that phishing website. How do we do it? Well, there are multiple ways, but we make it simple on the end user and an admin. It could be an extension, portal, or proxy. Point everything to us. And based on your policies, we'll apply that. We'll give you the forensics wherever you need it. Could be high critical applications, could be that, hey, here's a new project we're working on, we don't trust this contractor yet, whatever that is. We are here, and I talked about it, don't pay for free browsers. There's a great browser out there, Google Chrome. Let's not pay for a new one. What you really need is the browsers you're using, plus Menlo Forensics for your SOC. So let's make sure that when you see an alert, you have the forensics in it. Second, when an incident occurs, you have to go back to that patient zero with the context that, hey, this is what you did. I'm not saying you that anything else, but I have an evidence now. This is what you did. So with Google and Menlo, now you can have the confidence that you work with your users, your admins, to give that context, to give that forensics, and that's what Menlo is here to provide you. I'll wrap up with this one. We only have 1 minute left. We have looked at research. We have looked at the threats in this space as well, produced some reports as well. But the biggest thing that Menlo Labs is researching, when the threats come, when it comes to browser security, when it comes to the enterprise applications which are delivered over the browser, what are the unique ways, the new ways people are trying out there? And all of that is compiled in these reports. And you can download it on menlosecurity.com or come find us at the booth right there. That's all I have. We got about 53 seconds left. Any questions? I know I went super fast there. All right. With that, thank you very much.